Your Honor, at this time the state calls Devin Del Sesto to the stand.
Devin Del Sesto. Good afternoon, Mr. Del Sesto. Have a seat. Mr. Del Sesto, you've been sworn before, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, you understand that you're still under oath?
Yes, sir.
Proceed.
Yes, sir.
Please state your name for the court and spell your last name for the record.
My name's Devin Del Sesto. It's D-E-L-S-E-S-T-O.
Mr. Del Sesto, first off, tell the members of the jury a little bit about yourself.
Well, believe it or not, I used to be one of college football's best running backs. I had speed. So fast, getting ready for bed, I'm hitting the mattress before the lights turn off. But coach wasn't too pleased with my off-the-field behavior, so he sent me home to get my life together.
Mr. Del Sesto, what do you do now for a living?
I'm actually a bellhop at the Black Bear Casino. I mean, I know I don't look like the average bellhop, but I mean, I can carry about 5-10 bags at a time.
So tell us, what exactly does a bellhop do?
We serve the patrons of the casino, whether it's by laying cars, delivering room service, luggage, pretty much anything they need to be done.
Mr. Del Sesto, do you know who Avery Bancroft is?
Of course, he's my boss, and he is balling. He just recently put together a proposal to get a second casino, and he already owns the Black Bear. I mean, that's the level I'm trying to get to.
Do you see Mr. Bancroft here in court today?
Oh yeah, he's right over there. He's got the nice silk tie on, navy blue.
Let the record reflect the witness has described Avery Bancroft as the defendant.
The record will so reflect.
Mr. Del Sesto, do you know what Avery Bancroft was doing during the time of April of 2015?
There was word getting around about a new casino license being awarded. Heard a couple of people talking about it around the casino.
So how exactly did you know about this casino license?
I think it was around February 16th. I was by laying cars, all the new sports cars coming out, the ones I could fit into anyway. And I just pulled the Rari up, gave the keys to Mr. J, and I heard Bancroft on the phone. He said something along the lines of, "Thanks for calling me back. I'm getting a proposal together, and I want to get it done. If you're for sale, I'm willing to pay the price, whatever it is."
Hearsay?
Your Honor, this is pursuant to Rule 801D2 of the Midlands Rules of Evidence. This is a statement by a party opponent. Therefore, it's allowed in court today.
Overruled.
Mr. Del Sesto, can you tell us once again, when exactly did you hear about a proposal?
Well, I just pulled the Rari up, and Bancroft was on the phone, and he said, "Thanks for calling me back. I'm getting a proposal together, and I just want to get it done. If you're for sale, I'm willing to pay the price, whatever it is. I just want to get this done."
Mr. Del Sesto, do you know who Chase Covington is?
Yes, he's on the board for the Midlands Gambling Commission. He comes in quite often, play a couple hands of blackjack. He has the best BMW I've ever driven.
Have you ever seen Chase Covington and Avery Bancroft together?
Yeah, they would come in, play a couple hands of blackjack, and I think they came in for a couple of meetings too.
Do you remember when they first met?
I think the first time they met was, I think it was April 13th. It was the 13th.
Do you remember that day?
Yes. I was about to get off work, and the guys had just got an order in for room service. I was a little upset about that because nobody wanted to take it up. So I'm the nice guy around, so I said, I'll take it up, take it off you guys' hand. I decided to take the stairs. I'm a little concerned about my weight since I'm not playing ball anymore. So got to the top of the stairs, a little out of breath, and I was greeted by Danny Hoy, who was the head of security. He was standing outside of the door.
Did you know who was in this meeting?
Well, not right away, but when I went in, I saw Officer Keenan, Bossman Bancroft, Chase Covington, and Corey Hott.
Mr. Del Sesto, did you hear anything that was being discussed in this meeting?
Well, I didn't come in for the full duration of the conversation, but I did come in at the time where Covington held up a briefcase and he said, "I'd like a new one of these." I don't blame him because it was a little tattered, a little beat up. So.
Mr. Del Sesto, what happened after this meeting?
I mean, business at the casino went on as usual. I was valeting Rari's, delivering cheese plates, and carrying Louis Vuitton luggage up as usual, checking the mail. And we did get well, it wasn't odd, it was odd to me, but we got a black briefcase in the mail.
What did this briefcase look like?
Pretty standard. It kind of looked like the one Covington had in the meeting a couple days ago.
Would you recognize this briefcase if you saw a copy of it here in court today?
Yeah, of course.
I'm approaching the witness with prosecution, or the opposing counsel, and the witness with the same. Is this the briefcase that you saw in the mail?
Yeah, this is the one.
Is this a fair and accurate copy of that?
Yes, sir.
Prosecution moves to admit prosecution into evidence.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
Without objection, so ordered.
Did you ever, or what did you do with this briefcase?
Well, I mean, it struck me as odd, you know, why somebody ordering a briefcase to a casino, but, you know, I did as protocol instructed. It was addressed to Bancroft, so I just took it up to his office.
Did you ever see this briefcase again?
Oh, I was just getting off work again, and a couple of guys were talking about celebrities being in the VIP room, so I was a little curious. I decided to take a stroll down, and it was just Bancroft and Covington playing blackjack. Needless to say, I was a little disappointed, but that's where I saw this briefcase again.
Was it only this briefcase?
No, Covington had one too, the old tattered one.
Can you describe both of these briefcases for the members of the jury?
Well, Covington had the old tattered one, and Bancroft had this one.
Mr. Del Sesto, did you see anything unusual after this?
Well, aside from the usual ruckus at the casino, I saw Covington leaving with what looked to me to be the exact same briefcase that I had taken up to Bancroft's office 3 days prior.
Okay, Mr. Del Sesto. To be clear, did you ever see Mickey Keenan around while these two met?
No, no.
What day was this?
What day was what?
Did you see these two together?
Oh, 16th of April.
Mr. Del Sesto, while working at the Black Bear, have you ever heard Mickey Keenan threaten Avery Bancroft in any way?
No, no threats, nothing.
While working at the Black Bear Casino, have you ever heard Mickey Keenan tell Avery Bancroft to give Chase Covington money?
Give him money? No, nothing like that.
Thank you, Mr. Del Sesto. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Cross?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tender prosecution to the bench.
Yes.
Good afternoon, Mr. Del Sesto. My name is Maggie Pallister. I'm just going to ask you a few questions today. Mr. Del Sesto, you're employed by the Black Bear Casino, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take you chronologically through the dates of this case,
Okay.
starting with April 13th. You were working on April 13th, right?
Yes.
You were working around 3 p.m. You were about to clock out,
Yep.
but you got a call for room service, correct?
Yep.
And you took a wine and cheese plate up to room 312.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you got to room 312, the door was opened by Mickey Keenan, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you said that Mickey Keenan gave you a huge tip, correct?
It was about standard, 25, 30. That was pretty standard.
And Mr. Keenan winked at you at this point?
I mean, people wink at me all the time.
But he did wink at you, correct?
Yeah, he did. He did.
And in fact, he leaned in and whispered to you that he was very grateful for your service, correct?
Oh, yeah, a lot of people like me around the casino. I'm best bellhop around.
So just to clarify, he opened the door, tipped you, winked at you, and said he's very grateful for your service.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Moving on to April 15th, did you see Mr. Bancroft on that day?
Yes.
And you saw Mr. Keenan on that day as well, correct?
Yeah, he was around too. They were, you know.
In fact, you saw Mr. Bancroft and Mr. Keenan talking together, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you decided to walk by them, right?
I had to walk past to get where I was going, but yeah, I walked past.
So you did walk by them?
Yeah, yeah.
And you testified that you heard them talking?
Yeah, I might have heard a couple of things. I was, you know, just walking past. So.
You heard something about them saying, getting the job done?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Your Honor, may I respond?
Yes?
This is a declaration against the interest of the party opponent, so it's admissible.
Could we clarify, again, we're at sidebar. I believe you've clarified in your question who was making what comments. You just said that there was a conversation, we don't know who knew what, who said what. So I'm going to sustain the objection as it is, but let's back it up. Your point about party opponents is well taken, but we don't know that it was a party opponent per se saying anything, because the question didn't address who was
Your
saying
Honor,
what.
May I turn your attention to page 4 of case law?
Well, your objection for this question is sustained. If
Yes,
you
sir.
have another objection to a different question, we can discuss it later.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Please rephrase your question, Counsel.
Mr. Del Sesto, did you hear Mr. Keenan say something about getting the job done?
Objection, Your Honor, to hearsay once again.
Okay.
Your Honor, again, this is a declaration against interest of party opponent. It's admissible.
Your Honor, may I turn your attention to page 4 of Midland's case law? If you turn your attention, once you're there, to Illidis versus State. Somewhere in there. Page 4.
And what case are we looking for?
Illidis versus State at the top. Rule 801D2 may be invoked only in one direction in a criminal case. Specifically, 801D2, it permits the state to offer statements by a criminal defendant. The rule does not permit the defendant to offer statements from himself.
We're talking about rule, your objection under 801.2?
Yes.
Your suggestion is that 801.2
They
is
cannot
inapplicable?
use Mickey Keenan's statements as party opponent statements.
Your Honor, this is...
Just one moment, Counsel. Let's turn to 801.2 and I'll hear your argument. I'm sorry. You're talking about 801D2?
Furthermore,
Mr. Rogers, I'm sorry, Mr. Rogers, you're talking about 801D2 not permitting this to come in?
yes.
Okay, and your argument?
At the beginning of this trial, the state designated Mr. Keenan as the party opponent, not
Yeah.
as the defendant, which is a distinction here that we'd like to make. That the state can offer statements by a criminal defendant. This is not the case in this situation. We're offering statements by the party opponent, not the defendant.
Your Honor, may I respond?
Actually, no, we understand your argument, and in fact, as we understand 801D2, it's in reference to usually to co-conspirators, but we're not talking about, let's see,
Can we clarify for you?
no, just one second.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, this is going to be our ruling on this. 801D2 refers to exceptions to hearsay and is talking about statements which are admissible, notwithstanding that they may have the trappings of hearsay. One of those exceptions is the statement of a party opponent, and a party opponent, if that party opponent, if it was a person to whom the party was authorized to make a statement on the subject. The party in this case at the bar is the state. Mr. Keenan has been identified by the state itself as
Correct.
a representative of the state, not to mention the fact that he's an undercover police officer. He was acting at all times while he was on this job in his capacity as an agent of the people. Therefore, he is a party opponent. The statement that he made was in the context of what he was doing. It is therefore not going to be excluded as hearsay. The objection is overruled. You can ask the question.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Del Sesto, you did hear Mr. Keenan say something about getting the job done, correct?
Might have been a little muffled, but yeah.
Thank you. And later that night, you didn't get off your shift until about 2 a.m., correct?
Oh yeah, serving everybody.
So I guess we're already there, but turning your attention to April 16th, you had to be at work at 6 a.m. that day, right?
Yep, early shift duty call.
And you only got about 20 or 30 minutes of sleep that night?
Oh yeah, it was pretty rough one.
And you yourself said that you were stumbling around like a zombie at work the next day.
A little exaggerated, but I was a little off kilter, yeah.
You were not at your full capacity that day.
No, I wasn't.
And you saw Mr. Keenan again that day, correct?
Yes.
And you said he looked frazzled to you?
He looked a little bit off to me, but you know, everybody looks a little bit off when they're in the casino, winning, losing money, you know how that is.
But Keenan asked you if you had seen Mr. Bancroft or Mr. Covington, correct?
Yeah, he did ask me that.
And at this point, he seemed frazzled.
Yeah, he was.
Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing further.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor, I just asked that my witness may be excused.
Witness may be excused.
Thank you, sir.